Alright, so today we're going to do a pod review on this pepper right here. And I believe it's pronounced Chilhuacle Negro. I don't know, you figure that out for yourself. I can't speak those languages, so I really don't know. Anyway, it's a pretty good pepper, and I grown it last year. It's not a heavy producer, but it does produce fruits that can vary anywhere in size from, say, this size to, much larger like this one here. It's an interesting pepper. I dried these out last year. I let them dry out, and they dried out really thin wall, and the pepper took on like an odor of like either coffee or chocolate. It had like a coffee or a chocolate type of a smell, which was a little strange because I totally didn't expect that. I mean, it didn't necessarily taste like chocolate or coffee, but the odor of it was definitely like, if you smelled it, you'd be like, oh, that's coffee, or oh, that's chocolate. You would definitely say that. You wouldn't know the difference if you smelled it, but the taste is a little different. So this is a fresh one. Usually I let these ripen all the way until they're like a rich brown. And so I guess I could pick, this one's a little green on the bottom. Over here, this one's probably close enough to being ready. So the plant is a smooth stem plant. It's a narrow leaf, nothing broad on it at all. It's got a very narrow leaf on it right here, as you can see right there. It's very narrow. There's no purpling in it, maybe just a couple of tabs of purpling at the nodes, and that's it. This is a 2-year-old plant, and I will winter this one over again because I do want to get some more pods out of this thing. And so let's pick this big one off and show you what it looks like. It's an interesting pepper. This is very different from a lot of the other peppers. Definitely in a lot of ways, especially when you dry it and you get that chocolate smell out of it. That's really strange. It's definitely an oddball of the peppers. But you could definitely see this deep, rich, dark chocolate brown color to it. And you can see what the cap looks like. And it's a pretty good size for this pepper. These peppers are usually much smaller and shorter, but they do get this size and sometimes a little bigger than this. But it's a very firm pepper, and the color of it is just incredible. It's like raw umber. If you know what the color of raw umber, this is kind of like the color of raw umber. So it's a very strange brown, deep, dark brown. And if I'm not mistaken, the flesh is deep red all the way through it. So we're going to take a bite off of that, and we are going to do a taste test. So I'm just trying to get some angles on this so I can do a couple snapshots of it at different angles. And that way the lighting, I can get the right lighting for a thumbnail and other pictures I can share on my photo bucket. Alright, so let's turn you around. Alright guys, here we are. We are doing another pod review on the I don't know how you pronounce that. Negro, Chilhuacle, Choa, I don't know. Something like that. The name will be in the description. You figure out how to pronounce it. Anyway, here it is. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? That is nice. And there it is. All different light angles. I'm trying to get you a good angle on the light, so you can just really see all the convolutions and awesomeness to this thing. And I don't remember what it tastes like. I know it's a little different than most peppers, so it's going to be a little bit of a ride on this one. And I don't remember if it's hot. If it is hot, it's probably really low. But it's weird. It's got like a dark green overtone tinge to the deep dark brownness to this thing. So it's really cool looking. So anyway, with no further ado, let's give it a bite. Well, I'll tell you right now, this one's going to be a little complex to explain. There's no heat on it. It's a nice sweet pepper, at least right now. The wall thickness is really thin on it. Try to get you in the light here. See, the wall thickness is really thin. Can I get you a good Where can I get some good light here? Okay, you see the wall thickness? Okay, it's really thin, and it's a deep brown color right through the walls of this thing. Trying to get you a good angle of light so you can really see this thing. And it's brown all the way through. I thought it was red in the middle. I guess maybe once they fully ripen, they kind of redden up a little. But like I told you, when this thing dries out, it smells like coffee a little bit. A lot, actually. Or chocolate or something like that. It has a kind of a strange flavor to it. Smell. I'm not sure about the flavor. I didn't actually eat it dry. Maybe it does taste like coffee when it dries. But let me take another bite and let's get into the flavor. Again, there's no heat on it. If there is, I'm not feeling it. It's a little bit tangy, and it's also got a little sweetness to it. Skins are very thick on it. Very hard, thick skins. There might be a little bit of heat on this. Very small amount, though. You know, pepperoncini type heat. It's just like barely noticeable. There is some kind of heat on this. Definitely. I could taste the soap a little bit. It's really hard to describe the flavor of this thing. It's in a world of its own. It doesn't taste like any kind of a bell pepper. It doesn't taste like any kind of a cayenne. It definitely doesn't taste like habanero. I don't know what they use this for, but I'll tell you something. It's a strange flavor. It's not gross or bad or anything. It's just different. Okay, I'll put it to you that way. It's a different type of a taste. It's got a tanginess to it, very slightly, and it's also got a sweetness to it. There's no odor now, but I know when you dry these out, they get an odor. Let me try to get another bite and see if I could try to figure out what I could describe it as a little bit. I can't describe the flavor. This isn't a world of its own. It has its own kind of a flavor. Doesn't really taste like really anything normal, like pepper-wise. Just like in a world of its own. Here's the inside of it again. Try to go in direct sunlight. The direct sunlight might be too bright for it. See, that's what it looks like on the inside. The right angle of the seeds. I don't know if you can see the seed pod in there. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to say. It just doesn't taste like anything, like any other pepper or anything I could really describe it as. It does have a little heat on it. It is a little bit warm. I think they make mole or something with this. I know they do make mole with the Pasilla Bajo pepper. I know they do it with that, but I don't know about this one. Take one more bite, and then if I can't explain it then, and I don't know what to tell you, I really don't know how to describe the flavor. It's just something in its own world of flavor on its own. The only thing I could really say that really stands out with this thing, those skins are really, really thick, and the wall thickness is really thin, but it's almost all skin. The whole thing is like a pepper of skin. This pepper is really grown for drying out. You really can't... I can't describe anything else on it. It might taste like some other peppers, but it's really got its own flavor, guys. I can't really describe what it would taste like. It tastes like its own thing. As far as the heat goes, it's just a very light, low heat. Almost undetectable. It's probably somewhere around the same kind of a heat as a pepperoncini. It's really low. Does tingle up the lips a little bit, and it kind of gets on the top of the tongue, spreads itself around your mouth slightly. Very light, almost undetectable. It's almost not even worth mentioning, but I do anyway, because I know some of my viewers complain about peppers. They don't want no heat at all in their peppers, and I understand that, and I respect that, because sometimes I don't want heat in my peppers. There are times when I just want to eat sweet dishes with sweetness and no heat on it, and I eat peppers that I think are sweet and they're hot. So I understand that, and I respect that with people. But this one does have a slight, tiny little bit of heat of it. Like I say, again, maybe somewhere in the range of a pepperoncini or maybe a poblano type pepper. But it's very, very light. Not really enough to really set you off. But if you are cooking with it, keep in mind. again, what is the pepper generally used for? What could it be used for? I'm going to be honest with you. You dry this pepper out. That's really the only thing you can really do with it. You can eat them fresh if you want and put them in your salad. I really don't know if that would be the best way to do it. It would definitely be something you dry out. You could try pickling them. You might be able to try pickling them because a lot of times they're just small little, about the size of a cherry pepper, a hot cherry pepper or cherry pepper. They'd probably get around that size, and so they're probably good for pickling in general. Or you can probably try even frying with it. I wouldn't stuff them really. You could try stuffing them, but that skin is really thick on there, and that kind of just, it makes it complicated to really use it for too many other things than really drying. And a lot of times, if you ever go into a food store and you see big bags of those peppers and they're dried out, you see them, they're black and they're kind of dried out. That's what you would want to do with this kind of pepper. You just want to dry these out and then, I guess, turn it into a powder or put it into certain dishes like mole they might go good with or something. But yeah, it's a strange pepper. The heat is still there a little bit. It's not burning me to death or anything, but it's still there. I can feel it on my lips. It's an interesting pepper. I can't necessarily say it's a nice pepper. You know, I want to go out and eat this thing all the time, but it's a fun pepper to grow. It's a real interesting pepper. It's very different from a lot of the other peppers plant-wise, and as far as fruit, it's definitely got a little bit of a difference in there. But I don't know. It's not something I would look forward to going out and just crunching on in my garden, though I would eat them anyway. If there's nothing else around, I will eat them. But it's not generally what I would go out for eating. I would generally pick something else, or, this is, like I say, something you'd want to dry out. You definitely would want to dry this out. You wouldn't really want to eat them raw. So, anyways, that's it. That was your pepper review for the Chilhuacle Negro. I don't know. The name will be in the description. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.